well, now it's a little bit. How did that happen?
Yeah,
Okay.
that always does that on that preview
Yeah.
thing. No, moreover.
Which way?
That way, towards the couch. The other way. Yeah. Okay, there.
Where's your hat?
Oh, no hat. Oh, I like this hat.
Okay, Maria's here. Well, too bad. That's Canada backwards. Okay, the same with the balloon behind Walter. That's because you know that we're having that little problem we have not been able to solve, and I haven't found anybody else on YouTube that solved this problem when you're doing a live recording this way. So just learn to read backwards, I guess. So Maria's here. Sudi Q's here. She says she loves the hats. Julie's here. Hi, Julie. Elaine is here. Great way to start the chat with a giggle. Love the hat. Catherine says, so glad to be back with you this week. Happy Canada Day. Glenn says, happy July the 1st. Yep, it's our big day. This is our big weekend, eh? It's all about us today. We're drinking Canadian. Where is it? Did you put the can up? There it is. Canadian. Not that we usually drink Canadian because actually,
I sometimes drink it.
well, and, oh shit, I did it again. Shoot, I mean, whatever. And Brenda's here. So anyways, we thought we would get into the spirit of things. I've got my moose hat on from the dollar store.
Actually, almost looks like lobster claws.
Actually, it does, doesn't it? Well, maybe you could use it on the East Coast when we had Lobster Fest or something. I don't know. Yeah, it does look like lobster claws. Actually, I think this is meant for a kid because I'm squeezing my head into this. Looks like Conehead. Remember those on... We are from France. We will drink mass quantities. Okay. Some of you will know what I just meant. Glenn says, how much have you been drinking, Stephen? You can't even get it in your mouth. Yeah, okay. That's usually how it starts with me. Okay. Haven't had anything actually today. This is the first. So we're eating some traditional Canadian foods, junk foods, snacks that we don't think you can get in the States. Those of you in the States.
It's rare. I looked it up.
So what is?
They have on occasion had them, but
okay. These are. What do you think these are? Give me a guess. Who's going to give me a guess? What do you think we got?
they're potato chips. But what flavor?
Shut the moose up. Yes, they're potato chips. Apple chips. No, wrong. These are ones that you probably cannot get in the States. We're not absolutely sure. We know at one time you could never get them in the States. They're uniquely Canadian, but beef flavored chips. Nope, they are not. Give you a hint. This color is supposed to be red, but when you buy them at the dollar store, the red looks a little bit more purple. Beet flavored potato chips. Getting closer. It's something that I know, which I'm surprised that Americans don't have in the States, because this is a flavor that a lot of times Americans get accused when they go to a good restaurant that they have to have this as a condiment. That's a hint. Who's going to get it? Well, I'll give you another hint. You would put this flavor probably on a burger. Ketchup. Glenn says ketchup. Really good. Kathy says ketchup. You are right. These are ketchup potato chips. And as far as we know, I don't think you can get them in the States.
Well, apparently I read also that they can't get all dressed.
You can't get what?
All dressed potato chips.
Oh, yeah. Those were another Canadian one. And if you don't know what we mean by all dressed, it means it's every flavor in the book thrown on a pile of chips. It's kind of the leftovers. Kathy says ketchup. No, we call it ketchup. It's ketchup. It says it on our bottle and everything. Virginia says, Happy Canada Day. Have never had ketchup potato chips. They're not bad. They're not something we buy very often. In fact, I haven't had.
We practically. I never buy them.
Yeah, I
hardly never buy potato chips.
We never buy potato chips. So now we have another one. I'll let you see these. Be quiet.
Okay.
Here they are in the bowl. They look like this. Now you might be able to get these in the States, but they're probably not called the same thing. They're thin. They're crispy. They're salted. What do you think? Come on, people. Not seeing any answers yet. Not letting you off the hook until we get some guesses here. See, they come like this. Glenn says, Ruffles make it all dress we can get in the USA. Oh,
okay.
So you can get them down there. Okay. But what are these? What are these? What do you think these are? They're salted. They have a bit of a smoky taste. Okay, Brenda's close. And Virginia calls them matchsticks. Brenda calls them potato sticks.
That's what I think you can get in the U.S.
Yeah. We call them hickory sticks. And of course, the writing is backwards on there. But that's what they look like. So they taste like smoked hickory. And they were something that were quite popular when we were kids.
Mm-hmm.
And that for years. In fact, this is the first I've had them in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Chipsticks, Hayes says.
But they're hickory flavored chips.
Yeah, they're hickory flavored though. So they're called hickory sticks in Canada. So there you go. We've got your beer, we've got your ketchup potato chips, and we've got your hickory sticks. The only thing we're missing is poutine. Well, poutine, tourtière, if you know what tourtière is. Tourtière is like shepherd's, well, no, it's like a meat pie, but it's made up of a couple of different types of ground up meat.
Beef. It's
Ground beef and
meat
ground
pie.
pork. And ground pork too, right?
Ground beef meat pie with pork and ground beef in it.
So therefore, it's not just a ground beef pie, it's a ground beef pork pie.
Ground meat pie.
Ground meat pie. Okay, well, whatever. It's French Canadian, tourtière. And I don't know what other foods are really synonymous with being Canadian.
Well, there's a lot of different kind of chocolate bars that we can
What?
only get here.
Like what?
Smarties.
You're looking at my back. Smarties. Oh, Smarties, yeah. Well, M&M's to the Americans. Well, they're different from M&M's a little bit, but not that
Yeah,
much.
Smarties.
For it.
Coffee crisp.
Oh, coffee crisp? Can you not get coffee crisp in the
I don't
States?
think so.
Well,
Crunchy bars.
yeah, missed anything.
Big Turks.
Big Turks. Oh, yeah, they might not be able to get Big Turks. But we have a hard time getting Baby Ruths
Yeah.
and Mounds and Butterfinger.
We have Crispy Crunch. It's like Butterfinger.
Yeah. Do they still make Crispy Crunch?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, haven't had one of those in a long time.
You had one last Halloween.
Well, that's what I said, a long time.
Oh, okay.
Well, that seemed like it. Glenn says, I just ordered ketchup chips to try. I hope they are good. Actually, they're okay. You have to like ketchup.
And they do sort of taste like ketchup.
I think, though, after a while, you kind of get like, okay, I've had enough of those.
Actually, even as a kid, I was never really that fond of them.
Yeah. So Glenn, where did you order ketchup chips? Like, you said you ordered them. Well, do you mean like off of Amazon or something, or? I don't know. Amazon. It says Amazon. How much they charge you for them? And what make are they? Like, many companies make them up here. I think Lay.
Hostess is the one that started it, but Lay's actually makes them up here too.
I have to take it off. It's squeezing my brain. Well, wait. There. Not there.
Okay.
Now I look like a drunken Canadian. Brenda says, I'm having watermelon. Okay. Oh, Glenn says Old Dutch, $3.46.
Mm.
That would be American dollars, I guess.
Oh, gosh.
That's kind of expensive for a bag of chips,
Mm-hmm.
I guess. Well, if you translate it into Canadian dollars, that's like $5.
Well, it's about $2.50 for a bag of chips here.
Is it?
Yeah.
Now? Geez, that's how long it's been since
Yeah.
I bought a bag of chips. Lay's ketchup are the best, Laura says. Of course, that's our Laura. So, okay. So, anyways, so yes, it is Canada Day. It's 151st birthday, and everything's open today. It used to be Canada Day was considered a statutory holiday. So
Everything was closed.
and you have to have Canada Day on Canada Day. It has to be July the 1st. And I think Americans for Independence Day on July the 4th, it's the same kind of ruling. So if it falls in the middle of the week, everything's supposed to close down. even if it's the middle of the week. Although a lot of companies give their employees what, a floating holiday?
No, no, a lot of our companies will assign the next working day as a holiday. So like if Canada Day falls on a Saturday, they give you the Friday off. If it falls on a Sunday, they give you the Monday off.
Okay, so, oh, hi Mel. Glenn says Doritos are $4.79 a bag here. Well, these are not like Doritos, okay?
They're just like potato chips.
These are just potato chips with ketchup seasoning on them. And Doritos are more of a barbecue-y, hot kind
Yeah,
of
Doritos
spicy.
are corn chip.
That's right.
They're like a what do you
Yeah,
call
they're
it?
a thicker chip. Yeah,
They're like a what do you call it? What you make nachos out of? Corn chips.
yeah, that kind of thing. I don't know if you were equating the two
Like
as
they're
the same or
flavored
not, but
Tostitos.
yeah. Laura says they do have ketchup Doritos too. Oh, they do. Okay, didn't know
Oh,
that.
I didn't know that.
I'm not a big fan of Doritos, and the reason being is it's not so much that I hate them. It's because the kids at school, they would eat them at 8 o'clock in the morning, and they'd smell that Dorito smell just permeates the air and the whole bit, and it used to make me half sick. Like at 9 o'clock in the morning, that's the last thing I want to smell is Doritos. But they seemed that was brekkie for some of them, I guess. Laura says she loves them. Yeah, I'm not a big Dorito fan, but that's the reason why. Okay, so how were we celebrating? Well, anyways, I said that most places are supposed to be closed, but we went out today to do some shopping to pick up a few things, and everything was open. Now everything tomorrow looks like it might be closed, but Laura says they don't sell chips at school anymore. Yeah, probably the healthy food thing, which is probably a good idea.
Yeah, so then the kids that live near a mall or near a mall go to
Bring
the
'em in.
mall. Like the ones up here at the school up here. There's a school up here that's close to a mall, and they're all over
Yeah.
at McDonald's at lunchtime.
Yeah, they're all in McDonald's for lunch, or Tim Hortons, or Wendy's is there, and Subway is there, and Home Depot, and yeah, and there's the liquor store too. So have a little liquid lunch. No, don't think they get that. So yesterday we went off to a town that's east of us by about 50 minutes to an hour, called Cobourg. Cobourg is on Lake Ontario, and every year on the long weekend, the Canada Day weekend, they have a huge arts and crafts market. And it's like marquee tent after marquee tent. And it's run by the Rotary Club and the Chamber of Commerce or whatever. Those might be one and the same thing in Cobourg, I'm not sure. And it costs you like $5 entrance to go in. Well, we've gone for the last few years down, and it's a lot of jewelry, a lot of scarves, a lot of those dips. They have little samples out, and you get a pretzel or a little cracker, and you try all the stuff. They have all signs saying no double dipping and that kind of thing. And we like to go down and check it out. And if
And we've been gone pretty much the last few years.
but probably the last 5 or
Yeah.
6. It's always been like I seldom buy anything. Cookies, but we didn't buy any this year because remember we told you a few weeks ago we went to the Art in the Park in that little town called Warkworth, and there's this shortbread cookie company, and we showed you the cookies and stuff like that. Well, we stocked up then, so we didn't bother to buy any more. In fact, we haven't gone through those cookies yet, which is kind of amazing. I kind of forgot we had them. So we didn't really buy anything. But I like to look around because it gives me ideas for, projects. Now, there was one thing I saw that was really interesting. There was a guy there that makes bags, like tote bags, and some that were a little larger with zippers and that. It was nice material that was in them, and they looked really like a good bag if you were like traveling or something like that with them. And they weren't a bad price, I didn't think, for the larger one, like about $65, which for the construction time and everything, and the material was really good material that was in it, that was nice and heavy and stiff. But I was looking at that. So I'm going to make one of those types of bags. I've made bags before, as you know, but I would like to make one of these more substantial ones. In fact, I got a pattern for one. Well, we'll come to that later in the day, that day. So anyways, we walked around, Took us a whole glorious, what, 15 minutes?
Yeah, no, probably
Half an hour. We were walking slow. There didn't seem to be as many vendors this year, which was a little bit of a disappointment. But it was the same old. I don't want to say it's crap. It's not crap, but I mean, if you took away the jewelry, and if you took away the women's clothing, there wouldn't have been a heck of a lot of anything else, except maybe a couple of birdhouses and some paint by number art. So, really, I got to take this off. Yeah, it wasn't that exciting. So then we decided to go and find a place for lunch, and it's very busy in this town. It's a small
Give me that
town.
thing.
What do you want? You want to try to wear it?
I'll try to wear it.
Okay, you wear it. Here, I'll wear the baseball cap. Oh, now I look like I need a tractor. All you need is big glasses and you're set. Yeah, like Bullwinkle Moose here. Like, oh, squirrel. Get squirrel. We'll talk about squirrels too later. We're having some fun with our squirrels. So anyways, what was I talking about?
I don't know. The art thing.
See, I find these hats distracting. I keep looking at it and going, oh my God, I look like my Uncle Rob. He's dead. And
Almost.
that's not a compliment. Like, really, to
You
me.
need a pencil behind your.
Yeah, yeah, whatever. Well, what's that show that comes on TV that we never watch? The one with the cartoon. It's the guy in Texas. What do they call that? The Family. It's been on for years. Cartoon kind of thing.
I can't remember.
I can't remember, but you know, they're kind of backwoods, hillbilly, Texan like kind of people. Not that all Texans are backhill clay. That's just how they play it on this thing. Anyways, so we were looking for a place to have lunch.
King of the Hill.
Oh, that's it, King of the Hill, yeah. So we're looking for a place for lunch. And it's a small town. They don't have a lot of restaurants or pubby kind of places. But Walter said, well, there's one pub on one of the streets just a block away from the downtown that he saw on the internet. The Cat and the what? Cat and the Fiddle or something?
Cat and the Fiddle or something, yeah.
So we decided to try that out. So we go down, and on the door there's a big sign. Cash only. No credit cards, no debit cards. Cash only. There's an ATM at such and such a place. And I thought, what? In this day and age, especially in Canada, because we are one of the top countries that use electronic funding, more so than most countries in the world.
Yeah, I
And-
practically never carry cash.
No.
I just have my debit card with me.
And I thought, why do they only want cash? So we didn't go in because probably had the cash on us, but really, no. I don't want to use up my cash for other things where you do have to pay cash, and this just seemed bizarre to us. So we decided to leave glorious Coburg and go to a place called Newcastle, which is closer to where we live. It's on the way home, kind of a thing. And so we went there because there's a pub there that Walter had heard about from some. Who'd you hear from?
One of the ladies I used to work with, she lives out in the Curtis area, and Cortez.
Cortez.
And
Curtis.
she said that she used to. She goes there once in a while.
It's an Irish pub and it's called Snug.
The Snug.
The Snug. And now this little town, Newcastle, is really, really tiny. Like when you drive through it,
Doesn't
you
take
blink, it's gone. So, and as I said, it's very close to where we live. It's only like, what, 25 minutes away if it's that? It's not
Yeah.
even that, probably. So we went, and this was a really cute little pub. Now, tomorrow on my vlog, quit playing with your antlers.
Yeah,
You do look like crab claw or lobster claws, though.
yeah.
I did some video from in there. In fact, I did some video from Coburg and around and where we went, but I can't, of course, show it to you now because of, the technology doesn't work that way for us. But tomorrow on my vlog, I will have that little excerpt there if you're interested and you can catch it out. But it's a cute little pub. It's an Irish pub. And so we ordered, it was about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So we're kind of late for lunch and too early for dinner. And so we decided we'd have some beer, of course. It's a pub. And you had a what? I had a Harp. You had a Smithwick's, didn't you?
Yeah.
You always order Smithwick's. Smithwick's isn't Irish, though. Harp is.
No, Smithwick's I think is. I'm not sure.
Is Smithwick's Irish, too?
No,
well,
maybe not. I think it's Scottish actually.
Oh, well, okay. Oh, Scottish and an Irish pub. Okay. Anyways, we decided we'd just order some appetizers. Now they had some stuff on there. Hello, the 80s were calling. I haven't had this stuff since probably the 80s or the early 90s. They had potato skins,
We never order that.
and we
stuff.
never order that stuff at all. Well, it's all deep fried, and that's one reason why we don't. So we decided, okay, the heck with it. We're going to get some potato skins, some garlic bread with cheese, and deep fried mushrooms. I haven't had deep fried mushrooms probably since the last
And we
century.
probably won't have deep fried mushrooms.
No, because they really took a toll on us. And I mean in the regions below, okay? And usually nothing bothers me. Him, God, he has his own bathroom, and which is a good thing. We also don't have wallpaper in that bathroom. If you've ever heard the expression, yeah, wouldn't stay on the walls after he's been in there. So we had these, and actually they were good. Like this
It
place,
tasted good.
Yeah.
Actually, when they first brought some out, she says, "Oh, well, there's some more coming because that's only half."
That's only
order."
half order. We had to make some more. That well, I thought, holy crap! If that's like what they consider a half order, you certainly couldn't complain about
Well, we
the
ate them
quantities.
all, and
And
we
then paid for it later. Yeah. So, anyways, we had 2 beers and these things. But I'd go back there because it's got a really neat atmosphere. Although some of the locals were coming in, and not long out of the trees, there's two, and one came in with a cowboy hat. We're not in Western Canada. We're in Central Ontario, South.
Well, we kind of figured
Central?
out why later. on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll come to that. But let's just say they look like a bunch of hillbilly hicks in an Irish pub. Okay, it's just a mixture here in Canada. If you come up here, everything's just sort of blurs.
And then some woman came in. She wanted takeout. And
Oh,
she
yeah.
wanted Caesar salad with dressing on the side
And no croutons.
and no croutons.
I was surprised she got the bacon bits.
So she got lettuce with dressing.
Yeah, she got lettuce with no dress. Yeah, romaine. I'll have a bowl of romaine, thank you. So I was okay. So then there's this quilting store in Newcastle. It's called Annie's. So I said to Walter, let's go there since we're here anyways, and it's just up the road a mile. So off we went. Now, when we got there, we now understand why the guy was wearing the cowboy hat. It's this little miniature
Hillbilly town.
old western town. Well, it's not a town; it's a street. But they've got all these old like buildings. Annie's Quilt Shop is in there, and it's in kind of like an old, not a log cabin, but circa late 1800s kind of look. The whole place.
Well, a few motorcycle guys were there.
Yeah, there's some motorcycle guys there, lots of tattoos, and they're women with them too. Who Daisy Dukes. Look at those. Laura says in Ajax there's an Irish pub called Finn McCool's, real Irish fare.
Well, no, that's a train chain.
They're actually a chain, Laura, and we have a Finn
They're owned by
McCool's.
They're owned by Cara Foods, which owns Swiss Chalet and Kelsey's and
Montana's and Milestones, all those ones. But the Finn McCool's that we have up here, not far from us, sucks majorly. We went there once, and
And
that was
there's one
enough.
in Bowmanville.
Oh,
But
yeah,
they call it Fion. They have a big, huge sign, but it's the same company.
Yeah,
It's
it's
a
a
chain.
chain kind of a thing.
Whereas the Snug in Newcastle is a family-run business.
Yeah, it's a family owned. It's not a chain or anything like that. I really highly recommend it. It's kind of quaint, and the food was good. I'd go again for dinner sometime because they had one thing on their menu called they had corned beef and cabbage, and if it had have been like I wasn't
Dinner time.
yeah, I would have got that. I didn't really feel like in the middle of the afternoon having corned beef and cabbage, but I really like corned beef and cabbage, so it'd be nice to try that. Cindy's here. Hi, Cindy. And she says, Happy Canada Day. Whee! So anyways, we went to this place, and it's all decked out in this little western town. And when we went into the quilt shop, I said to the owner, I said, what is this? We've never seen this. We've never heard of this. She says, oh, they do a lot of movie shoots here. And there's some kind of event, she says, down in the barn, down at the end. And that's where we saw all the guys on the motorcycles and everything. So I think she was a little concerned it might get a little loud, and she was hoping it would die out before, by the time she closed the store, or wouldn't get started until she closed the store.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, she was having a sale. Oh, great little quilt shop.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, if anybody from Ultimate Sewing is watching this video, which I don't think they do, I'm sorry. I went to But it's not like I'm going to move away from my usual store. But
Actually, she had the best selection in fabrics outside of Ultimate
Yeah.
Sewing. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I bought, and Walter's an enabler. So he's looking at this one bunch of fabric, which were sort of fallish colors and that. Nice looking stuff. He says, oh, I really like those. Well, so I picked out 4 bolts of the stuff and got a meter of each. I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet.
I like watching him spend money.
Yeah, $233 later, I was done at Annie's. It was a good day for Annie, I think. She was having a sale, though. I bought some patterns. Actually, I bought quite a few patterns of stuff, and one of those is for a bag. Like I was telling you that I saw this guy at Coburg was making. And I'm thinking maybe in the fall, Ultimate Sewing offers classes in bag making and purses and kind of stuff like that. And I kind of like making bags. Actually, I'm working on a project right now that I saw in Missouri Star Quilt. I was working on it just before we came on live. And I think I sewed my zipper in backwards. Have to fix it. You make it out of candy bags. Now, I've seen other videos about this too. But you basically take a candy bag, like a, sort of like this size, a little bigger, the big bags. And of course you have to dump all the candy out.
So we have a ton of candy.
Yeah, because I bought 4 of the big bags of different types of candy because I'm making them for some friends of mine that in a few weeks' time we're going off to have what we call a gang dinner. There are some people that we get together with, throughout the year and have dinner with, and most of them are teachers. In fact,
Or
or
retired
retired teachers. Yeah, and so I thought I would make each one of them one of these little bags. It's a pouch with a zipper, but it's the candy bag, and you cover it in sort of a clear vinyl on the outside. So that was one thing when we were in this Annie's quilt store. I said to her, "Do you have any Heat and Bond vinyl?" She says, "Yeah, I think I do. It's on a roll kind of thing." I thought, "Oh, okay," because that stuff, regular Heat and Bond, if you buy it in say like Walmart or fabric store or something like that, if it often comes already like 2 yards of it or something on a roll, and it's like $15 or more. And so she brings it out, she has it there, and she says, "How much do you want?" I said, "Well, how much is it a meter?" And she says, $4.95. I went, "Oh, God, give me a meter. That'll be plenty." And I thought, wow, that's a really good price. So today I'm working with it and realize it's not what I wanted. This was regular Heat and Bond, which is for applique. Okay, it's a glue. Basically, it's an iron-on glue kind of a thing. What I wanted was the Heat and Bond that is a clear vinyl on one side. So you put the candy bag down onto that, you press it, it seals it. And so you've got basically a laminated candy bag. So it won't tear, it's waterproof, and it's much stronger. We did find some at Walmart actually today. So that's what I was working on. But I bought some patterns. I bought some pre-cuts there. She had a really good selection of materials. And actually the prices on her fabric were comparable to what I pay at Ultimate Sewing. Of course, at Ultimate Sewing, though, I get 10% off because I bought a sewing machine there, so I get 10% off forever. But anyways, so now I've got an official stash, and I had to find a new place for my material so I can lay it out. So I did.
Sounds like you're a druggie.
I'm hooked on material. It reminds me of the days when I first started scrapbooking and discovered scrapbook paper. And that's why to this day I still have tons of scrapbook paper I have never used. I got to do something about cleaning that out. I'm never going to use it up. That. But I already donated 2 boxes of it to a school. I wonder if I can sell it. Probably not. So anyways, I did it again. Good. On my phone this time. That's not good.
Luckily, it's waterproof.
Yeah. Well, is it washing machine proof?
I don't know.
No, the last one wasn't, as we well know. So anyways, it was a great store, and I've got it on my vlog for tomorrow, and you'll see it, and it's kind of cool little setting. All right, so that was what we did yesterday. What's now? Well, I was talking about sewing classes, and I'm spending way too much money on fabric, way too much, but it's so pretty. And then you go around, oh, that's nice. Oh, you could do something with that. I think I mentioned that we've picked out the fabric and that, and I think I've got most of what I need now to make the bedspread or the bed quilt. I just have to get started on it, but I haven't finished the crumb quilt yet. I'm about to quilt it, and I'll talk more about that tomorrow. But This week in sewing class, I'm making a sweatshirt. Oh joy! Yee! Of course, it could be worse. She could have made me make a woman's sweatshirt, and it's like when I say sweatshirt, I mean they're kind of the fancy sweatshirts that have little designs on the front and everything for the women. Mine's a plain brown one. I had to cut out the material for it. Hope I did it right. We'll find out. And actually, the week after that, we're doing placemats and napkins. Yay! Because that's what I really wanted to do. I mean, I've done them before, but I wanted to learn the right way to do it. It's with my serger. And in my boot camp, basic quilting boot camp, we're about ready to get started putting our blocks together. I don't know, that's a class too. I've learned some stuff from that class, but I kind of went ahead of the class. So, whatever. Elaine says, oh, Cindy says, nice hat, Walter. You're too funny in so many ways. Elaine says, crafters sell scrapbook paper through YouTube all the time. They're called destash videos. Oh, okay. Note. Didn't know about that. Destash videos on YouTube. Okay. Thanks for that, Elaine. I'm going to look that up. And Laura says you can probably sell any name brand paper for sure. I've got unopened pads that are like, Graphic 45. Yeah, they're brand name ones in the whole bit. But they're so pretty. I don't want to get rid of them. You look like a dork.
Yeah, I know.
Well, more so than usual, but I look like a bloody trucker. Jeez. Anyways.
Yeah. Got your 2-4,
Hey, got your 2-4. Hey, Bob. Hey, Doug. Got your 2. Now, only Laura probably knows what we're doing. Probably only Laura. Kat says, oh, please do stash videos and sell to us. I wonder how that works, though. I wonder how you sell through YouTube. Like, I have to look into that. There's a possibility. Laura says, oh, save the graphic 45 for me. Sure, Laura. No problem. I'll make you a good price. Let's say, $50 a pad. Yeah. Laura's laughing out loud. Elaine says, oh my God, do a destash video on your channel. G5045 in particular sells really well. Yeah, I know, because I've got a lot of them, because I love that stuff. And I'm feeling really bad and guilty that I'm not doing much mixed media these days. Although I saw something really interesting. Tim Holtz has come out with a new product. It's called Alcohol Ink Lifter Pad, I think.
Yeah, lifter, yeah.
And it basically, I don't know what the formula is, but it will lift alcohol ink. If you put it on a rubber stamp, this stuff, put it into the alcohol ink, it lifts it off and gives you a ghost image. But you can also stamp with it then. Whatever you've lifted off, you can put onto another piece. And another thing I saw was really cool, and I'm going to talk about this in more detail. I made a little mini video to insert with the vlog tomorrow, showing you how to take, if you've been using alcohol inks and you've been dabbing things up with paper towels, don't throw them out. Because you can do some mono printing on paper with those and some extra alcohol. Not the kind you drink. And it's really cool. So, yeah, I have a little segment tomorrow on the vlog that'll show you for that. And Cindy says, your hat is too new, Stephen, and too straight. Yes, I say it is straight. I don't usually wear a hat because I don't like hat head.
Probably made in Bangladesh or something.
Yeah, like they came from the dollar store. What were they? Like $3.50 for this, and I think that one was
$3.50.
Was that $3.50 as well? Yeah, dollar store, but $3.50. Okay, go figure.
Yeah, definitely not made in Canada, that's for sure.
Yeah, no.
It's made for Chinese heads.
Yeah, they might be smaller. So, anyways, that was that. Okay, update about my mom. Still in the hospital. Nothing makes her happy in the hospital. She's not. They're giving her food. She's basically not eating some of it. And I keep telling her, Mom, if you don't eat, they're going to put you on intravenous.
Yeah, they're monitoring what she's eating,
Yeah.
and she has a selection as to what she wants. But
Well, she doesn't. At lunchtime, she was getting soup and a sandwich and some tea and some kind of pudding or something for dessert or whatnot.
mandarin oranges or
Yeah.
pudding or whatever.
Didn't look bad actually. I said to her when we were in there one day, and we're in there every day. I said, "You didn't eat your sandwich, Mom." "Oh, I don't like that. The bread's too thick." It's ordinary sandwich bread. It's not Texas toast style or anything like that, or like a bagel or anything like that. It's ordinary white bread. Okay? It's too thick. So then she stopped.
Or it tastes funny.
Or it tastes fine. So she stopped ordering a sandwich. Like, I guess they come around in the morning and they have a little iPad and they tell you what's available that day, and she has some choices. And
It was
she tells
funny.
them what
The
she wants.
first day she was in there, she was chowing down on the sandwich, and she says, this is pretty good."
Mm-hmm. But now that's gone out the window. And then they were giving her Ensure. And they were giving her the stuff that was 50% more calories in it. It said, probably because my mother's as skinny as a rake.
Yeah.
And they're probably, trying to fatten her up a little bit, get some meat on her bones in there. And, well, she didn't like the Ensure. It was too sweet. Then I guess they asked her, I said, well, why don't you ask them if they have Boost? Because usually she drinks Boost. I buy it for her by the case. In fact, to the point where I really think, I question that stuff.
She drinks too much of it.
I think she does too. And if you look at the ingredients that are in Boost, it's a lot of sugar and a lot of artificial stuff in it. It's supposed to have all these nutrients and stuff, and maybe it does, but I just wondered, like, maybe one a day isn't so bad, but she was sucking back at least two, and I think
What she was
sometimes more
doing,
than that.
she was basically using it as a meal replacement, but every meal.
Yeah. So anyways, I said to her, well, I'll ask at the nurse's station about that. So we did. I said, okay, my mother doesn't really like the Ensure. It's, too sweet for her. Do you have like regular Ensure? Or she says, well, we were talking to her about that. And she said she preferred Boost. The chocolate. 'Cause she said you get her the chocolate all the time and she likes that. And I says, yeah, she does. That's her favorite flavor and she likes the chocolate Boost. And she says, yeah, we've put in for that. She says, we can probably get that for her with it. And I said, okay, that's great. But then the lady says, another one said, well, how'd that work?
She sort of said that, somebody else sort of said that one day she just said, well, it was too sweet, she didn't like the chocolate.
Yeah, then
His mother
only
drinks chocolate.
Yeah. So I don't know. She tells one person one thing, she tells another person another thing.
Yeah, well, you already got that with your sister and stuff like that. She tells you one thing, and then she tells your sister.
Yeah, another thing, a totally different. And so, it's, yes, and I just saw a comment on here. Kathy says, no wonder she's not happy. Is this 2 weeks she's been there? Yes, it's been 2 weeks. It's actually been 15 days.
Yeah, but that's not why she's not happy. She's never happy with anything.
My mother isn't a happy lady.
I mean, when she was in the apartment, all she did was, there were days all she did was lay in bed and watch TV, which what she's doing now. And there was days there, and she wouldn't feed herself because she wouldn't go up and get anything into the kitchen or anything like that. So now she's being fed, but what she probably doesn't like now is that they're monitoring how much she's eating.
Yeah. And okay, like, I know everybody has different opinions about, aging parents and everything like that. I just want you all to know that I have been looking after my mother for quite a long time. I have done everything to help make her life a good life, to help since my father passed away. And this last couple of weeks have made me re-examine my life growing up. And I've realized something. I guess I was too young to realize it when I was growing up, but now I look back on certain things that have happened over time and I realize something. My mother was never a happy lady. I'm not sure why, but her own mother was the same way. My grandmother was a miserable old coot, quite frankly. She was an amazing woman in many ways. I mean, most of my creativity comes from her. It comes from both my grandmothers, actually. But my grandmother Barnum, that was my mother's maiden name, Barnum, like in the circus people, okay? She was never happy. Whereas my grandmother Bland was a real nut. I mean, and I mean that in a very positive way. I mean, I liked both my grandmothers, but they were both very different people. But my mother has become just like her mother, actually worse in some ways. And I'm going to be honest, I'm worn out. I am really worn out. I want to make sure my mother has what she needs. I want to make sure she has a good life and the whole bit. But every time you do something, it is never good enough. You can't, you have to do more. And even when you do more, it's still not good enough. And I'm burning out right
Yeah,
now.
I know. Like she'll say, "Oh, I want this," so you go out of your way to get that, and then the minute she tries to take a drink out of it or something like that,
Oh, I don't like that.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
She gets, and we've jumped through hoops to get her special stuff, and oh well, the flavor must have changed. I don't like that.
Yeah. Now, okay, I know this sounds nasty, but you know, I'm now going to tell you exactly how I'm handling stuff. I have to weigh my mother's life and quality of life against my life and the quality of my life. I'm almost 61 years old. Not that that's old, but time goes by fast, as everybody knows, and I'm sure most of the people that are on here understand that with it. And I've still got a lot of things I want to do and still interested in life. So I have the magic word no. They're going to try and send her back home. I can't look after her. She's not going back to the apartment, come hell or high water. Unless there's a miracle happens and she can walk out of that hospital under her own steam. If she can go to the bathroom under her own steam. Right now they're doing a bedpan thing. They don't even get her out of bed to take her to the bathroom.
Because it takes two people.
It takes two people
to get her out of bed.
to get her out of bed. She refuses to try. But that's not because she's in the hospital. That started, and one reason why she's in the hospital, that started 4 years ago when my father passed away. I was constantly trying to get her involved in things. I tried to get her back involved into a church in the area she lives in now, because she always used to go to church.
You said that last week.
Oh, I probably did. So I mean, this is the life I've had for the last couple of weeks or so. I end up repeating everything. I guess the bottom line is this: I got to start looking after me, because if I don't look after me, how am I going to look after my mother? And I'm not prepared to be unhappy. Simple as that. So, you know, sue me if this sounds harsh and horrible to people out there. That's life. And that's just what's going to happen. Mel says, there's a limit to everything. You should not burn yourself out and destroy your own life. Exactly. I mean, it kills me inside.
It's too bad that that's the way she is.
Yeah. Because she's an intelligent woman. She's not an old lady, but she's let herself become an old lady. And so now they're trying to find out if there's something neurologically wrong with her. Well, that's going to take another week before that. But I know there's nothing neurologically wrong. Psychologically, yes, there is something wrong. But neurologically, I'm pretty sure that's not what's causing the problem. But, you know, they're going to do this. And then I think we're going to have a meeting, a family meeting with all the team from the hospital. And this is when I'm going to have to be really strong in my resolve that she is not going back to the apartment unless they can guarantee me that she can have round-the-clock help, and that's not going to happen. Then there's no way. So in the meanwhile, we looked at another retirement residence. Beautiful. Want to move in tomorrow. Me.
Yeah,
us.
But the problem there is that they have really long hallways, and you have to walk them. You have to be somewhat independent to be in, but it's like a resort. It's a nice, really nice place.
Oh, they have this one area. Well, you walk into the place, they have this grand staircase. I mean, it's all for looks, basically. But the people that were there
walking in around the halls. They could do this all on their own. They had a little bistro
I
area.
mean, they had some people had walkers and stuff. Some didn't have walkers, but they all of them were able to move on their own. And basically, the guy said, like, I mean, they'd have a call button if they were in trouble, but the guy said that was taking us around, but they can't be pushing the call button if they need to be toileted, so they have to be independent that way.
So basically, she needs help to be toileted and the whole bit. So this place isn't appropriate.
No,
And they want to make it sound, although I'll give credit to that guy in that place as opposed to the woman in the other place we looked at. She made it sound like assisted living. Oh, yeah, we can look after that, not a problem, blah, blah, blah. He actually was very upfront. Well, I was very upfront with him. Well, I was upfront with the woman in the other place too. I said exactly what her
Yeah.
needs would be. And he basically said, not a good mix for her
No.
here. But we took the tour. It was really a nice place.
they even had a pool.
Yeah, I think I liked it better than the one that's closer to us. But this one's not that far
But I
from
mean,
us
that
either, but
really was for somebody that was
with it.
a little bit more mobile and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Like, I mean, it would be a nice place for somebody that's a little bit more mobile to live.
Yeah. But, you know, I think, but this also made me think about, in this day and age now, young people, like, and I mean by young people, I mean the millenniums that are out there that are working now and the whole bit, they really need to think seriously about when it comes time for them to retire. And a lot of them don't think about that. Well,
I think it's like ages
who did?
away.
Who did? When I was their age too, well, that's not true. I did think about retirement when I was their age because
Well, also my parents instilled that on me because
Yeah.
they said, my dad sort of said, see, I had older parents. His parents were younger closer to his own age, but my parents had me late. So my dad when I was in my 20s, my dad was in his 60s.
you were an oops.
Yeah.
But I was an oops too, so
I was noops on the other end.
yeah.
I was condom broke.
That's right. Oops. Don't
Hey.
buy them at the dollar store.
Anyway, but anyway, my dad always said to me, you know, believe it or not, before you know it, you'll be a senior. You'll get older, right?
Yeah.
And he's right. Before you know it, you're a senior.
Yep. So these young people, you know, in our system right now here in Canada, in Ontario, they make a lot of empty promises. Of course, they're politicians, and that's all politicians do, about, you know, increasing, putting money aside to make more long-term care facilities and making the system easier and better for looking after our senior citizens and our elderly and the whole stuff. That's never going to happen. At election time, they always make these kind of promises, but we really do need them, and especially with the population aging. And Walter and I are the tail end of the baby boomers. And there's a lot of us out there. And so basically, we have to start maintaining our health and looking after ourselves. We especially have to look after ourselves because we only have each other. We don't have any children to look after us. And even if we did, there is no guarantee that children are going to look after you in this day and age. I mean, the day and age of the family being extended. I mean, my grandmother, my mother's mother, I remember my great-grandmother, her mother, living with her in the middle of the 1960s when she was in her upper 90s. She never went into a nursing home at all. It was just expected that you would look after your aging parents. And my grandmother did that, and it took a toll on her. Of course, I was a little kid then, because I'm talking the middle of the 1960s and the whole bit. So to me, I just remember this old lady propped up in a chair who taught me how to get the peg into the center of the high Q game, if you know what I'm talking about, with the pegs and the red pegs and the little plastic board. And that's all I remember much about her. So I never knew what my grandmother probably went through looking after her. When my grandmother went into a nursing home, she put herself in there. My mother never had to do a thing at all. My father never had to deal with aging parents either on any kind of level because his parents died relatively young, like when they were 70, 75, and were living in their own home and looking after themselves and were pretty much all there because my grandmother died of stomach cancer, and my grandfather died of a heart attack. At the kitchen table, boom. Way to go. So they neither one had to experience any of this kind of stuff. So now suddenly, everything's dumped on me.
My parents never experienced that either because they moved to Canada and let the kids in back home look after their aging parents, and that's why his brother and sister resented them
Yeah.
because
Well, Laura says your your other brother and sister should be involved in your care as well, so don't feel bad. Yeah, they should be. But my brother lives in Abbotsford. My brother and I do not speak. I would speak to him, okay? And I'm not trying to think that I'm like to project the idea that I'm better than my brother. No. But my brother, and it's hard to get, I'm not going to get into it here because it's very involved, but basically since when my father passed away, my brother basically blames me, and he and his wife blame me for the death of my father because I didn't look after him properly and I put him in a home. Well, no, that's not really what happened. He was bedridden and had to go in a home, and I had done a lot of jumping through flaming hoops and trying to do all kinds of stuff. And my father was not, he had dementia. So, anyways, and apparently I found out that my brother's coming out to Ontario. My mother thought it was this weekend, but I think she had that mixed up because he calls her every other week. And I'm thinking, oh, how does my brother know that my mother's in the hospital? And the little sadistic side of me was going, oh, this will be fun. He'll call my mother's apartment and it'll ring and ring and ring and ring and ring, and he won't get any answer. So, will my brother wait for another 2 weeks before he tries her again? What's he think she's doing? Going out, square dancing, having a hang out at a bar, picking up men? What's all this about? Because he has no clue as to my mother's condition.
And your mother enabled that because
yes, she doesn't tell
every
him
time she calls, she said everything's fine. And even when they were out last time in September, they were going to take her for lunch, and she said, "Oh, she wasn't feeling well." She knew darn right that she couldn't stand and couldn't walk with them. So
they would have had to take the wheelchair, the whole bit. No experience with that. And my mother's always been the kind of lady who's always been concerned about how other people will perceive of her. She's always about reputation and that kind of thing. So, you know, she wouldn't want anybody. With my brother, for some reason, because he's golden boy, she doesn't want him to know what he's going through. But my brother wouldn't call me. I can't call my brother. I have his number.
anytime he's tried to call,
They won't answer.
they won't answer his phone.
I've left messages. They won't pick it up. I've sent them emails.
And they don't respond.
They don't respond. They just don't, because they were pissed off because I planned my father's memorial service when they were going on a cruise. Well, yeah, death isn't convenient for anybody. I had said to my mother, "What do you want?" Craig, my brother had 2 trips back to back booked. He was going on for his 25th wedding anniversary on a cruise down along the west coast of the United States from Vancouver. And then when he got back from that, he was flying with his buddies that live out here in Ontario to Scotland to golf. I think there was a trade-off. I think maybe he'd said, "Honey, I want to go play golf with my friends in Scotland. Can I?" And she went, "Oh, that's not a problem, sweetie. Of course you can go. Oh, by the way, we have our 25th wedding anniversary coming up. I'd really like to do a cruise. What do you think?"
And it turns out his father passes away like 3
Yeah.
days before they take the cruise.
Like we planned that, not, and the whole bit. So I asked him, "When can we plan the memorial service?" I mean, my father was being cremated, so I mean, basically he's in a jar, so it's okay for a while. But I was thinking my mother, because this was a shock to all of us, because no one was expecting my father to, that was it. There was no sign that this was going to happen like that. Of course, it wasn't like he was in the hospital or anything like that. So I looked at dates and I said, okay, there was also a long weekend involved in there as well. And
I mean, there was a concern about getting him on. He was going to land in Toronto on his way to Scotland. He would be available for 3 hours. So
Yeah,
I was
layover
trying
for
to
3 hours.
squeeze in a funeral in there, and it was happened to be on a statutory holiday.
Yeah.
So
So things weren't going to work. And anyways, I said to my mother, "What do you want to do, Mom?" I mean, really, the most important person at this point in time was my mother. Said, "Mom, we could make this sort of work, but it'll be 4 to 5 weeks before we can do it." And she says, "I'm not waiting that long." And I said, "I don't think you'd want to." And my sister, of course, was there as well, helping me make the arrangements and everything. And she didn't want to wait for that long either. So we asked my mother, and she says, "No, I want to do this, and I want it, over in a timely fashion." And yeah, I agree. So I told my brother I would call him later on that day that we are making the things to tell him for sure what was going to happen. Meanwhile, his wife decided that her 2 oldest children.
I think you said this last.
Oh, did I say this?
Yeah.
Okay, probably.
Repeat stuff.
Okay, I'm old. Everything's new to me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I might have Alzheimer's.
Well, anyway,
And who
yeah.
are you? Anyways, long story short, my brother hates my guts. And that's fine. So they're supposed to be coming out for some kind of family reunion on my sister-in-law's side of the family. My mother thought it was this weekend, but her friends weren't, who actually contacted my brother, because I said, "Okay, did Craig call you in the hospital? How did he know you were here?" "Oh, this couple that are good friends of my mother, they called him or something." I'm still not sure whether they called him or he called them to find out what was going on.
I think they called him.
I think they called him too.
And because your mother asked.
And I think because my mother asked them to call my brother. Fine, whatever. So we'll see if she's still in the hospital when he does come out here for this thing or whatever. I don't know. Not that he's going to, but she'll be fine when he comes out there, and she'll turn around and say, "Well, I don't know." And this is how she talks. "I don't know, but Stephen seemed to think that I should be in the hospital. I fell. I didn't hurt myself, but he seems to think." And the way she'll put it, it will be, "Okay, I'm trying to get rid of my mother." Okay. Let's get off my mother.
Yeah.
Let's see what's going on here. Messages and everything. I'm sorry, people. It's what preoccupies me. That and quilting. Julie says there's a limit to what you can do. Been there, done it, got the t-shirt. Yeah. You have to take care of yourself as well. Bye, Cindy. In the long run, you'll never be sorry for the things you've done for your mother, but you need to take care of yourself and your relationship as well. And Laura said about brother and sister. Yeah, my sister's here. She's doing stuff and everything for it too. But, okay, move on. Our driveway is finished. Well, we can now park our cars on it. It's been sitting for a week. All the neighbors had theirs done too. Everybody's had their car parked out in the street. They're all waiting for who's going to make the first move to put their car on top of it. And we did it yesterday. And the neighbors across the street must have done it, but they've got a gouge in their driveway.
Well, that's because this other person came in the driveway. I don't know who it was in their driveway, and they tell you when it's brand new driveway, especially right now in where we are, it's really hot for Canada, and they must have twisted their steering wheel when the cart wasn't moving, so that'll grind the asphalt up. So right now it's 32 degrees today, and that's Celsius, and it's that's 89 degrees Fahrenheit.
Plus, there's probably a humidex.
And for us, that's hot.
Yeah,
That is hot.
that's Australian hot. Yeah, I wish I was there. Yeah. So, anyways, our driveway is done. So we got boxes the other day because Walter's getting himself warmed up to start painting the living room, dining room on that one, and we have to box all our crap. Well, some of it we're not boxing. Some of it will go in a box, and those boxes are going somewhere because we have crap in the china cabinets that we got to get rid of. That are like dust collectors and the whole bit. And so it begins with all that kind of stuff. Okay, so I don't have a getting to know you person here. So newsworthy things. Well, July the 1st also marks that Justin. It's funny, we call our Prime Minister by his first name, but we call our Premier, our new idiot Premier, by his last name, and we call your President, oh, those of you that are Americans, by, his last name, but we all refer to Trudeau as Justin. Maybe that's because his dad was, when he was Prime Minister, we all called him Trudeau.
Yeah.
Maybe just to distinguish the two, although his dad is dead. But I don't know. Anyways, we have tariffs. Let the trade wars begin. And I don't know how this is going to work out for either side of us. In fact, I don't think either one of us is going to benefit from it. I think all of us average people are going to suffer on both sides of the border. But Justin had to do something, so he did. I mean, wait till China weighs in on this one. Well, they already are, but have they actually put tariffs on anything
Oh, I'm not sure.
officially? Because that's going to hurt a lot.
Because
Anyway,
everybody has everything that's made in China.
yeah, I know. Then we swore in our new premier, our mini Trump, Doug Ford. Oh, wow. This is going to be fun. So, all of you in the United States who have been going through hell can now watch us in Ontario, if you're interested, what's going to happen to us with this a-hole that is now as our premier. So, like I said before, I can no longer sit there and criticize what you put into power because we're just as bad. So, there we go. And lately we've been having a lot of shootings in Toronto. So if you're thinking of coming up this summer to visit Toronto the Good, as it's called, really clean city, they always say. We never thought it was that clean, but I don't know, other people do. Go somewhere else. I mean, it's bad up here. I don't think we have ever had it this bad. Every time I turn on the news, there's a new shooting in Toronto. Every time. I mean, this is ridiculous. What's going on with the world? Mm-hmm. Just stop making guns. Period. I don't know. It's bad. It makes me very sad for what things are going on. Julie says, "Oh, it's 33 here. So hot." Yep, that's a nice thing. So, anyways, that's news. Anything else in the news that you read this week?
Not much.
Okay, so Walter's, what's eating Walter this week?
Well, I read in the news, or I read an article about it.
Okay,
And,
so what's eating you?
well, I guess it all stems, there's a whole bunch of things that stem. There's something called ghosting out there. And apparently it's now hitting job markets. And I guess it always has hit job markets in that people, I guess it's more in the technology areas, the areas and the jobs that are, that there's lots of job offers around and stuff like that. And a company will go in and do interviews of a person and do a selection, and then they go to hire the person and try and phone them, and the person doesn't contact them back, and the company can't get a hold of them. They email them, they don't return emails, they don't return phone calls, and the company will try and figure out what happened to the person. Or the other thing happens is that the company will hire a person, and then and the first day on the job starts and the person doesn't show up, and there's no contact information, won't return phone calls and stuff like that. It's called ghosting. It's where a person will probably accept a job with another company, but don't inform the company that's making an offer or has hired them that they have accepted a job somewhere else. So it's kind of frustrating for these companies, right, that are trying to hire them. And we've had a similar problem with, a couple of years ago, we had Front Step done. And a guy said that he was going to give us the guy that did some other work for us said he was going to give us an estimate to replace our front step. And he said he'd come around on the Sunday. Well, he never showed up. So then I called him and asked, and he never returned my phone calls. And then I emailed him, and he never returned my emails. And then finally, he did return an email and said, "Oh, well, my father just died, and I'm all upset." But he didn't say that he was going to come and give me an estimate. So,
Well, didn't you also do a search and discover that
well,
possibly
his father, probably his father didn't die, and that was a lie. And so why would people do that? Like, why can't you just say, no, I don't have the time to do your job, or I've accepted a job somewhere else, or something like that? It's kind of nasty.
Yeah. Well, it's also bad manners.
And apparently it's common with the millennials. Now, I confirmed this I had dinner earlier this week with a group of people I have dinner with every couple of months. And one of the ladies is the head of an HR department for the city that we live in. And she said that's becoming more and more common, where you think you've hired somebody and they're going to come in and they don't show up for work, or or the other thing she says happens is they've been working there for a year or 3 months or something like that, and then all of a sudden they leave on Friday night and you never hear back from them again. They just leave. Don't give their notice or anything. They just leave their job.
I remember when I was in teachers college and we were coming to the end of teachers college and people were like looking for jobs and all this kind of stuff. And we had a special seminar session where they talked about how to approach getting a job, like resumes, letters of application, the proper etiquette for this. And one of the things I remember when they telling us to do was, okay, if you get a job offer, but you've put out things to other places and they've offered you an interview or something like that, it is just common courtesy that you send them a note or give them a call and say, thank you so much for the opportunity. I have accepted a position with such and such. Thank you. Just to let them know, not to waste their time. And that to me makes logical sense, because these people have decided they want to interview you and you're wasting their time. And it's just plain rude not to acknowledge the fact that you've got a job somewhere else. And the other thing I don't understand is, well, why are they doing this? What advantage does this have to these people to not let other ones know? Because maybe that job you've gone and taken doesn't work out and you got to put yourself out there again. Well,
Doesn't that kind of screw you with the company?
I would think so. But they don't seem to think there's any consequences to this. And I don't know. This is the new mentality with that part of this of the
Now, I do
society.
remember when I worked I worked in information technology, which was always sort of a demand, not a demanding, but a job with high in demand. And we had a few consultants that they hired over the years where they just didn't show up for work the first day. And it turns out they ended up accepting another job, but they didn't find out until a few days later.
Like, I don't get the logic. Like, really, logic would dictate then, okay, companies know that you're probably not just applying to them, that there's other places you're applying to, right? So, does it behoove you not to turn around, I love that word, behoove you, to turn around and just pick up the phone or send an email in this day and age and say, thank you for the opportunity. I really appreciate it. I've accepted a position with such and such a company. Thank you again. Bye. Because, like I said, if that job doesn't work out, then you apply to them again. They're going to remember and go, don't go with this one. So you're burning a bridge.
Why would you burn a bridge? That I don't really understand.
Like, for the sake of being polite, like, really.
And not only that, you don't ever know what happens in the community, and that, they'll say people talk to other people. You never know.
Yeah.
And somebody might talk to somebody else down the road and say, oh, so-and-so applied for my company. Well, they applied for our company, but then they wouldn't return our phone calls. Don't bother hiring him.
Yeah, exactly. And there's some comments about this here. Let's see. Just backing up to the conversation that we were having earlier about the tariffs. Elaine says, we understand that Canada had to strike back with your own tariffs. You're right. No one wins. Trump is not bright. Sudiku, yeah. We've been having that kind of problem with when hiring in India, she says, with the ghosting. And Mel says Helsinki will soon be the Trump town, as him and the Russian House of Putin will have a meeting in Finland in about 2 weeks. Oh, too bad for that. And Sudiku says, Mel, are there any protests planned when Putin and Trump arrive? And Mel says, I don't know yet, but very possible, and I hope there will be something. In the old days, Sudiku says, companies would let you know they received your resume and would contact you to let you know if you didn't get the job. Angelica, oh, hi, Angelica. I don't think that those people do not have any logic, nor have they got any manners. Yeah, and I think it boils down to this, and I think I talked about this either on a vlog or one of our lives at one point. Just manners. People have no manners. I'll give you another example of people not having any manners. I told you last week my mother was having trouble with the TV set, and I had to keep calling because of getting the blue screen of death and all this kind of stuff because it's all done through the internet. And I had inadvertently made a comment thinking that they weren't on the other end and heard it, and I got kind of reprimanded by the person on the other end for that. And I already went over that. Well, this week, I'm having the problem again, and I'm saying to the guy, I am upset with the whole thing. And I said, look, if this happens again, I'm going to cancel it, and I want a full refund and all this kind of stuff. And this guy's giving me a hard time about that. I finally said to him, look, okay, fine, fix this problem. In the meantime, can you give me the name or the number or something of a person where I can make a formal complaint to the company? Because I know the guy on the other end of the line, that's not him. You know, he's doing his job, kind of a thing. He said, oh, well, I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? He says, well, I'll try to look something up, but I have another call to take right now, so I'll just put you on hold. He had me on hold for 5 minutes. I finally hung up.
Yeah, well, you know what the problem there is that you complain about that. It's a failure on his part.
Well, actually, though, I wasn't going to blame him because
I know, but probably anything that goes past
maybe
him. Yeah.
But that's a sad situation too. Like when you think about that, so I don't know.
You got the name of the company? I'll look it up.
I can't remember what it said on the thing.
Okay.
I just have the number, but I could do a reverse, maybe find it. Anyway, I guess it all comes down to manners anymore. Although I'm finding that I'm losing my manners because I'm losing my patience with people, especially lately. I really don't have a lot of patience with a lot of people, and it makes me feel a little bad about that. I guess when you're retired, like as a teacher,
When you become an old fart.
yeah, really, that's what it is. I said to Walter the other day, we should get a cardboard cutout of a balcony to put in front of us. Because I don't know if any of you remember the old Muppet Show, but they had the two guys, Statler and I don't think his other guy's name was Walter. Might have been.
No, it was something else.
Something, Waldo or something. They sat up in the balcony and criticized everything. And I said to Walter, that's us now. It seems like all we do is criticize anymore. And
just like your mother.
oh, screw off. Yeah, whatever. And I don't know. It's things piss me off more than they ever used to. Well, I guess I always was pissed off.
Well, I
about
guess
something,
maybe you got more time to be pissed off.
maybe. And I have more time to file complaints officially. And yes, I can hold. I got nothing more to do today. Well, that's not true. I have a lot of things to do. But I don't know. It's hard to get old and cranky. Okay, moving on. What are we watching? Well, he's been watching Colony, which we started watching together when the first season came out. What season is it on now?
3.
3. I haven't seen 1 of 3 yet.
Actually, personally, I don't think it's that great of a show.
Uh-huh.
It's just that I've been watching it for so long that I sort of still watching it.
And you're also watching that 100 thing?
The one which is also not that great of a show, but I'm still watching it anyway.
Yeah, and I'm still watching the 7th season of Call the Midwife. That show just brings me to tears. Every week. That show is just like
I don't know
he's
why
never
I hear
seen
it.
it.
It's too sappy from what
I don't think it's sappy, but it's actually it's a sort of a feel-good show too because these people care about each other. You want to live in that time period in that place, although really no you wouldn't. But I don't know, It's sort of like probably how my mother feels about the Waltons, because she used to watch that in reruns and everything like that. Good night, Mary Ellen. Good night, Billy Bob. Good night, George Boy. Whatever it was, John Boy. That was
John
the
Boy.
name of it. But anyways, we did go to the show, to a real show this week, to see Jurassic World. Well, what did you think?
I thought it was okay.
Yeah, I liked it. It was all right.
Special effects were good.
Yeah, they were. They were good. It was in 3D. I don't know about anybody else, but I'm so tired of 3D movies because they're really not 3D. It's not the like the old days. It sort of sharpens the image, but I don't find a great deal of difference watching something in 3D than watching something on a big screen and in the normal. Maybe it's my eyes. I don't know. And I get tired of wearing the damn glasses. I mean, it's bad enough I have to wear these to see up close, but it was okay. Actually, I'm looking forward to Mamma Mia, the prelude. I think a prelude, is that the right word?
Prequel.
Prequel. I have a feeling it will bomb majorly because I don't know how they could improve upon the original Mamma Mia. We saw it as a stage play and we saw it as the movie. We saw it twice as a stage play, actually. We actually took my parents to it after we had seen it. I love it, but then I'm an ABBA fan, okay? Always have been. My greatest wish in the world was if ABBA had a reunion with all four of them and they came to Toronto, who the heck's calling us? You can check it. If they came to Toronto, I would pay any price to see them in the concert. And I'm not a concert person. Okay, this is annoying. What is it?
Hello.
Walter's answering the phone.
Hello.
Time for a drink. Oh, it's one of those hellos. Nobody there. Don't usually get those on a Sunday.
Yeah, well. Probably figure everybody's home today.
I don't know about any of you people out there where you live if you get these all the time, but you get those calls that come through. They're usually from a 1-800 number or something like that, and then there's nobody on the other end of the line. And you go, hello? 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 And then I say a dirty
It's one
word.
of those. Well, they have these what do you call it? Companies that try and stuff.
Yeah, like
All
duck
have
cleaning.
these automatic dialers, and then they have somebody that gets busy on the other line.
Yeah. So, anyways, but yeah, I want to see that. And there was another movie that's coming. Oh, that was the one that
Mortal Engines.
the one that I'm reading the third book in
That's
the series.
not till October.
Oh, geez. Well, maybe by then I'll get through the whole series because there's only one more book to go, and then there's the pre. What's it called?
Prequel.
That's it. Prequel. I can't say it. Fine.
It's not like it's like sequel, only a pre.
I stand corrected. Fine. Read my lips. Okay. So what are people saying here?
That itches.
What does itch?
The hat.
Well, that's because you have no hair. Sudiku says, I'm 65, so I don't think I need to worry about manners anymore. Yeah, I'm just waiting.
Actually, we had a friend that had an elderly father, and she said that he would, if there was a lineup for like in the men's bathroom or something,
yeah.
which has not happened very often, he would just sort of like bat people away and just walk past them, and mumble, even though he was like with it, just to make it look like he was out of it.
Well, maybe there's an advantage to it all.
And he'd get to the front of the line.
And Kathy says, you were right about that. I'm less patient and tolerant than I used to be. Yep. Angelica says, that's what I'm coming to think. People are just getting more and more rude nowadays, especially when traveling with public transport in Germany. No queuing, just rushing and pushing past you. Yeah, that's how it works even in Toronto these days as well.
Yeah, people push past you, and that's annoying when...
Oh, Nairee's here. Happy Canada Day. She says, hi, Nairee. And Nairee, I know you already saw it, but I mentioned on my vlog last week, Nairee bought one of Mike Deacon's journals. She had it custom made, and he does a beautiful job on those journals and the whole bit. So Nairee has one, and I mentioned that in the vlog last week as well, because you know that we've met Nairee. So, you know, one of the few people we've actually met personally, like not on here. Angelique said, luckily I do not get these calls. What a pity. I have a whistle beside my telephone. Oh, that's a good idea.
Oh, that's awesome.
Didn't think of that. Air horn. And of course, you deafen them, but I mean, I don't really want to hurt them. Yeah, I do. I do want to hurt them. I'm sorry. I do. I just want to hurt them. No.
No, actually, I guess you gotta look at it is that they have this job that I don't know how much they like.
Well, I feel sorry for them that this is the kind of job that they needed to get for whatever reason. But you've heard about the big scams, right? You know, they've been going on forever in both the States and in Canada and probably other parts of the world. For us, it's the CRA, which is the Canadian Revenue Agency. And in the States, it's the IRS, right? The tax people. And you get these calls, and I've had a couple of them, where they call, oh yes, you are now on, cops are going to be sent out to your place because you owe this amount of dollars, blah, 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 on your income tax and
And
all
if you
that.
don't pay up, then you'll be put in prison and all this other stuff.
And so I got one on the line, I called them back because it was a recorded message, they gave you a number. I knew it's a scam. But I thought, I have a little time to kill. So I called the number back and I played really stupid. Like, I got this call from officer such and apparently there's a problem with my income tax return and I owe this money. And this guy, first of all, he wants to know my full name and he wants address and stuff like that. And I said, well, just before I give you that, can you give me your employee number? Because the government of Canada, if you work for the CRA, you all have employee numbers and that. And he gave it to me. And he gave me a name, too, as well. I still knew it was a scam, right? And it was all fake. And I questioned him some more about stuff. And then it got to the point where he turned it around. And I wasted about 5-6 minutes of his time on the phone. And he turned around and told me where to go. And all this kind of stuff. And I thought, wait, who's the... Here, it would be you on that. But... this brings me to what's on YouTube this week. Okay, do a search for telephone scams if you have never done this before on YouTube. There are hundreds of videos of people getting back at, like these ones from the IRS, the CRA, and all those other ones, you know, and the whole bit. They are hilarious and they're cathartic because they are the things you would like to actually do but have never done. So I find them, like I said, very cathartic. I live through them and it makes you feel good. Someone's getting back at these idiots who call you all the time.
Well, it's bad for the people that actually get roped in on them.
Well, yeah, but do they get roped in? Okay, I was saying this the other day. All right, these ones who are trying to take your money, like the one about your computer is running slow or something and they try to take control and do all this stuff, or the ones that are trying to get you to give all those gift certificates, like this is the one. I don't believe the stupidity of people who actually, when they say, okay, you can pay, you owe the IRS or the CRA $15,000 in back taxes, go to a store and get iTunes gift certificates. iTunes cards.
Well, actually, you know what happens? Like, okay, fine. I wouldn't be that stupid, I don't think. But they would be, they rope you in bad enough that maybe these people have done something on their income tax that was questionable at one point.
But why would you pay in gift cards to a government agency?
Yeah, I don't know.
How stupid can you be?
Well, then, okay, how stupid were you when you got
here
the
it
phone
comes.
call from the guy? That said it was
Okay, yeah.
We almost got roped.
I didn't get roped in, but that was a little different scam. That one was it played on your emotions and, okay, long story short, I got a call about a year or so ago, and there was this guy and he goes, I go, hello? And he goes, hi. And I went, hello? Who is this? And the voice answers, you don't recognize my voice? You know, you do have calls. Everybody's had one of those calls before where somebody has said, it's somebody that you do know, but they're like being surprise, or whatever. And I went, no, I don't. And first thing going through my head was, well, who is this? Who is this? I go, well, you don't recognize my voice. It's your nephew. I have 3 nephews. And I went, which one? And then my mind clicked, thinking back, and I think my brother's oldest son. And I went, oh, Harrison? Yeah. Well, I haven't seen him in 5 years. And in 5 years, boys' voices can change at that age group and the whole bit. I don't know. And I said, why are you what's the problem? Why are you calling me? I thought he was calling me because maybe there's something with my brother or whatever and this kind of stuff. And well, long story short is he's telling me that he got picked up for drunk driving and there's a fine of $1,000 and he didn't want his father to know, which then your mind kicks in and you go, yeah, I could see that, why you wouldn't, and you need this and you pay me back and all this kind of stuff. Well, okay, at this point you talk to me about money and giving it to anybody.
You were ready to send.
Yeah, but I wanted anyways. The lawyer was going to call me on how, because I said, how am I going to transfer this to you in the whole bit? But I told you about it, and of course, Walter, cooler heads prevail. But I also thought, I wasn't sure. So yes, I can see how they can scam you in. But anyways, the lawyer called supposedly and says, what's the middle name of my nephew? He hung up on me. Yeah. So yeah, I can see how some people can get, because if they play on your emotions and the whole bit, because I created a scenario in my head when he called. He doesn't want to tell his dad. His dad is this way. Blah 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 blah. And
Well,
I was
meanwhile,
filling all
you
the
gave
blanks.
him the name of the nephew, so he knew his name was Harrison.
That was a mistake I did. But when I asked about the middle name, he couldn't do it. So, anyways, thank you. I'm sorry that you've never been sucked in. I didn't get sucked in completely. So what? That you're telling me that?
No,
Thank
I'm
God
just
for
saying
you.
that people can get sucked in.
This is a man wearing a moose hat.
Yeah, I know, but
Yeah.
people can get sucked in before they know it.
Okay, I know
And that's
that.
who the people are they're preying on.
I know that. I'm not that gullible, but then some of us have a good heart. You don't have one of those.
No, I don't.
You don't. Your heart was ripped out a long time ago. It's completely made of stone.
Don't
if it
ask
was.
me for money.
Don't. Yeah. Right. Oh yeah. And he's good at that. Like he. But of course, he doesn't want to go into a furniture store because he doesn't like the high sales pressure to buy a couch. And I go, how are you going to find a couch that you want? This is what they're going
I've gotten
to do.
over that.
And then all you need to do is say,
No.
no. What part of no can you not say? I don't know. You don't have any problem saying no to me.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Like, no. Comes out all that. No, not doing that. Well, now do you do? Whatever. Let's see. Nairi says, thanks, Stephen. I love the journal. Sudoku says, you two are nuts. Yeah, probably. Nairi says, do you have special events for Canada Day?
No.
Yep. Well, we're not doing anything, but there is something down at the lake. Okay,
There's
this
some-
is good. Tell them. Tell them about this.
Okay, I look at our city that we live in, what they have on for Canada Day. And we're on Lake Ontario. The city's on Lake Ontario. So there's a lakefront park, right? That's lakefront park that we have in our city. So I looked it up, and they said on there that they're having this lakefront party, and they have all these musicians planned, and they have events planned. But because we've had bad rain in the last few days, which I'm not sure how much
We haven't
rain.
had that bad rain.
No, we've had some rain, but nothing awful. And there will be no parking down there. Okay, so how the hell are you going to get down there? Anyway, so then there's no parking down there unless you have a wheelchair permit
Yeah.
or whatever. So they're offering handicap parking, right? And the only other way you can get down there is either by foot, by bicycle, or they have a shuttle bus going from the local Oshawa shopping center to this Lakeview Park for this thing. So if you want to cram onto a bus with a bunch of other people, you can, and the shuttle goes every 15 minutes, you can get down there. Otherwise, you're stuck. You can't get down there. I mean, there's no parking.
The other problem is too, in previous years, there's a lot of people that go down there with their whole family, their extended family. They take barbecues, they take picnic
Well, they also
stuff.
said no barbecues.
Oh, well, there goes that idea. But they go down there and they do a big thing on the park. It's a nice little park. And it's right on the lake and everything like that.
Apparently,
can't
the
get that on
pier's
the buses.
closed, too.
Oh, well then what the hell? Like what? Like give me
They
a
say
break.
high lake level waters, but wasn't that high in Colbert today.
No,
Yesterday.
didn't stop them.
No.
Oh, jeez. Who knows? Whatever.
City of Oshawa's
Yeah,
screwed.
yeah, it is. So, Nairi, to answer your question, no. There's supposed to be fireworks down there too, but I haven't been to a fireworks show in years.
And if it's City of Oshawa, it's like 3 booms.
Yeah,
and
3
that's
booms and that's it. Go. Okay, that's fun. Yeah, it's over, folks. So, yeah,
it. I mean, Toronto probably will have a big display, but we don't want to drive all the way up there.
we're driving to Toronto anyways. Someone might shoot us. So, so what's there people saying here? Did you ever get your watch, Stephen? Kathy says. Oh,
No, not yet.
Not yet. My 65-cent watch from Wish. However, I did get an email telling me that I would probably get it around July the 27th.
Wow.
Ooh, I shiver in anticipation. I can just imagine what this watch is going to be like for 65 cents. But I will be sure to show you all when I get it. Sudiku says, I tell people I taught sales training, so save their sales pitches. Yeah. Yeah, I've tried all kinds of things to them. It doesn't matter. That's what these people do, so whatever. And let's see. What am I reading? Same old book. What's cooking? Walter made burrito surprise, which is my specialty. It's where you take a tortilla shell, you fill it with everything that's left over in the fridge.
Yeah, that was yesterday.
Yeah, I know. And then you slop salsa on it and some cheese, bake it at 350 degrees for 45 minutes, serve it, or throw it out, whichever comes first on that. Tonight, I think we're doing we after those mushrooms that we were talking about earlier, our whole system just kind of backed up, and the fat moose over here. Well, you were the one saying, Lord, I feel so fat. I feel so fat. We went to the doctor together because I have his doctor now, and she made me get on the scales, and I don't want to be on the scales because I have electronic ones and they probably go, get off me, you're too fat, but whatever. But I was actually I was lighter than I anticipated. So
I should have pushed my foot on top of it.
I'm not going to explain to you how much I weigh, but let's just say that it's under 200 pounds. And I thought it'd be over 200 pounds. Certain people in the room probably can't say the same thing, not pointing any fingers.
Over 1 or 2 pounds.
Fat losers. Eat dust. Yeah. But anyways, so let's see. I think it's time to put things to bed here. And a few people have gone to bed. Yeah, we're at our time. So
Any squirrels out there?
no, oh yeah, we've been having a problem with squirrels. They keep digging up Walter's pots on the deck. He was scurrying one away. So now they talk about taking. I think it's kind of cruel, but might have to do it. You take little pointy skewers and put them in your pots, and I guess when they leap in to dig up your pot, they go, "Ow!" And look, it's squirrel on a stick. Yay! Another fun food. That'd be hilarious. And apparently mothballs don't work. They play with them. So, I don't. And other people say cayenne pepper, but I just don't know how you get close enough to sprinkle it near their nose. So, oh well, I think I've had enough beer. Nairi says, love the way Walter waves his horns. Yeah, well, you might think he's kind of
They're
horny.
lobster claws.
Yeah, lobster claws, whatever. Well, we don't know what they are. Anyways, what do we got coming up? Actually, nothing in the next week, but my birthday's coming up in this month. Yes, in 13 days.
So what do you want?
And in 13, oh, I was thinking a Cabana Boy. So, oh, well, whatever. We'll go halvesies. I know which half I want. Okay, never mind. I was going to say, no, 13 days to my birthday. 14 days to our wedding anniversary. Although that is not really our official anniversary. That's just the day we had the big party and everybody.
That's the day
came.
we actually got married.
And that was also the day we got payback because we've been to all their bloody weddings and gave gifts, so it was their turn to give us some. But anyways, yeah. So we're going to Rocky Horror Picture Show at Stratford. Stratford is a town about a couple of hours away from us that is known for its Shakespearean festival every year. And Rocky Horror Picture Show is not
It's
Shakespearean,
but
but it's one of our favorites. And they're doing it on stage, so I got tickets months ago for that. And so we're going to that. And then we have a gang dinner, what I call a gang dinner, which I mentioned earlier, coming up after that. So stay tuned for details. And I think that's about it. And Iris says, I might need your postal address. Private message me, please. Okay, Nairi, I will. One of your really nice made cards. Ooh, a place of honor for that, for sure. Okay. All right, people. So anyways, it's been a lovely Canada Day spending it with you. And I hope you have a good week. And we'll talk to you all next weekend. Yeah, no problem there. Same time,
Yeah.
same bat channel. And minus
hats.
the bloody hats and that. Okay, so we'll talk to you all soon. Have a good week. Bye-bye for now. Say goodbye.
Bye.